welcome back to the Deep Dive. And our focus today, it's a big one. We're talking Leon Sylvers III, the producer, and the label he basically defines, Solar Records. Sound of Los Angeles Records, you gotta love that name.
It says it all right. Our mission really is to track how Leon went from being like a teen idol in a family band.
A really successful one, too.
Hugely successful. And then he pivots to become this, well, the creative genius, as the press called him, behind the sound of late 70s, early 80s black pop music.
And Solar itself, I mean, it was the label for that LA sound. Funk, soul, disco, that early boogie sound, R&B, it all came together there.
It really did. It's a fascinating story of talent, timing, and a really specific vision for sound.
So let's start with Leon Sylvers III, born 53, right here in LA. Music was just everywhere for him growing up.
Absolutely. It was a musical family through and through. He played bass, wrote songs, sang. It seemed like he was always heading towards the spotlight.
And he found it pretty young with the Sylvers, the family group. People remember the big hits from the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Wish That I Could Talk to You early on. Mm-hmm. And then the really huge ones, Boogie Fever, Hotline.
High School Dance. Total earworms, great energy on those records.
Definitely. Polished harmonies, super tight. But even back then, Leon was, pushing. He got that writing credit on Misdemeanor pretty early.
You could tell he wanted more control, right? He was driving them towards producing themselves.
Exactly. And that kind of came to a head with their 78 album, Forever Yours. Critically, people loved it. It was more sophisticated.
But there's always a but with labels.
Right. Friction with Capitol Records. Sources say Capitol basically wanted them to stick to the pop formula, the easy stuff. Boogie Fever Part 2, maybe.
So you've got Leon ready to dive deeper into funk and R&B, and the label's pulling back. That must have made leaving easier.
You think so? Around 1978, he makes the jump, leaves the family band, steps away from the mic, really.
And walks straight into this powerhouse role, in-house producer, A&R, for a brand new label.
Yes, Solar Records. Being set up by Dick Griffey, a real industry veteran. Leon went from being in the show to building the whole stage.
Okay, so Solar. Let's trace that lineage. It didn't just pop up, right?
No. Griffey had started Soul Train Records back around 75. That was a partnership with Don Cornelius, from the show.
Soul Train guy. Wow, okay.
Yeah, but by 78, Cornelius stepped back. Griffey rebooted the whole thing, renamed it Solar, and calling it the Sound of Los Angeles Records. That was deliberate.
Totally. Think about it. Black music was Philly, Detroit, maybe New York. This was LA planting its flag, saying, we've got the new sound.
And Leon was the guy crafting that sound, standardizing it almost. One of the key things about Solar was this real sense of community.
How so?
Well, the artists on the label, they were constantly collaborating, playing on each other's tracks, writing for each other.
Interesting. Kind of like a modern Motown, but specifically for that LA dance floor sound?
Sort of, yeah. It meant Griffey, and especially Leon, could keep a really tight grip on quality. This was when R&B was shifting fast,
Right.
From live funk bands to synths and drum machines.
Right, the technology was changing everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So having your writers, musicians, producers, often Leon doing all three under one roof, meant consistency. They weren't just making records, they were building a sonic brand. You heard a Solar track, you knew it was Solar.
Which explains why the LA Times called Leon Sylvers III the creative genius behind the Solar sound. That's not just praise, it's like attribution.
It really is. It suggests he was more than just a producer picking songs. He was shaping the whole thing.
Well,
pretty unusual level of central control.
Super unusual, but it worked, at least for a while. So let's dissect that sound. What is the Solar sound when we hear the whispers, Shalamar?
Okay, well, first off, the bass. Always tight, super active, often funky. And Leon played bass on a lot of those himself. He knew how to make it drive the track.
Okay, the bass line is key. Right. What else?
Technology. Synths were big, obviously. But crucially, the drum machines. Things like the Lindrum, the Oberheim DMX.
Ah, the Lindrum. That's interesting, because sometimes early drum machines sounded really stiff, kind of robotic.
That's the magic. Leon programmed them, but he kept the funk, the groove. He used the clarity and punch of the machine, yeah, but programmed it with a human feel. It wasn't cold like some of the synth pop coming out of Europe then. It still had soul.
Gotcha. So tight bass, advanced tech, but with groove. What about vocals?
Layered. Really intricate background vocals and harmonies. They weren't just backup, they were part of the whole arrangement, swirling around, adding this rich texture.
So it's this blend. Funk meets disco, but smoothed out, polished for radio, ready for the dance floor. Early R&B, or boogie maybe.
That's a good way to put it. Danceable. definitely. But with enough melody and R&B hard to cross over, it was perfectly tuned for that moment around 1980.
And it helped, like you said, that Leon wasn't just some guy behind the glass, he was a musician.
Exactly. He could write the hook, lay down the bass line, arrange the vocals. He understood the whole process, start to finish. Optimized for the club, optimized for radio.
And that combination, it just unleashed this stream of hits across the roster.
Unbelievable roster. Let's talk about the big ones. The Whispers, they were already veterans, but Solar gave them this huge second wind.
And the beat goes on. Massive. #1 R&B, #1 dance in the US. Leon co-wrote, co-produced.
That track is pure Solar DNA. Listen to it. The bass, those crisp drums, the synth lines, it's classic funk, but with that modern, polished production. Their album Imagination from 1980 hit #3 R&B.
Then you've got Shalamar, 3 for Love, also 1980 platinum album. That's incredible for an independent label at the time.
Incredible, and the second time around was just gigantic. It showed Leon could take that R&B core and wrap it in this irresistible pop sheen. Mass appeal.
It proved the model worked beyond just one group. And speaking of the model, Dynasty, they were basically created by Griffey and Leon, right?
Pretty much their brainchild, yeah. They weren't a legacy act coming in.
Yeah.
But they still delivered hits like I've Just Begun to Love You, another R&B top 10.
It shows the system was strong. If you were on Solar, you were in Leon's hit factory.
They really were. The sound was the star, in a way. And it kept evolving, which is important too.
Right, Solar didn't just stay stuck in 1980. Look at Midnight Star a few years later.
Yeah, 83, No Parking on the Dance Floor. That album pushed into techno-funk, electro-funk territory.
Freakazoid. That track is pure electro.
Totally. So they were listening, adapting, keeping ears open to what was happening next, the more synth-heavy sounds of the mid-80s.
And it wasn't just the headliners. You had Lakeside with Shot of Love in 78. Leon produced that. Top 10 R&B album. Climax was there. Carrie Lucas. It felt like a real scene.
It absolutely was. Which brings us back to the business side, the model itself. It was this in-house workshop, like you said. Leon controlling writing, playing, producing, all under one roof.
Seems like a lot for a small label to handle. Why not just hire outside producers sometimes, like the majors?
Control. Quality control, consistency, and speed. Music was changing fast then. Disco fades, funk evolves, boogie comes up, electro. Having everything in-house, let them react quickly, turn records around fast, but keep that core Solar sound.
That brand identity again.
Exactly. That 1981 Record World piece basically said Solar became a major force because of that consistency, with Leon as the key guy pulling the strings.
And their distribution deals. Smart move. Independent label, but using the muscle of majors like RCA, Elektra, Epic.
Super smart. They got the marketing reach, the distribution power of a major, but kept total creative control. No suits in New York telling Leon Sylvers how to make an R&B record. They own the sound of Los Angeles.
But you know, even the hottest sounds eventually cool off. Late 80s, things started to slow down for Solar commercially. What happened there?
Well, a couple of things hit at once.
Hey.
Maybe some creative fatigue. It's tough to keep innovating within the same basic formula for that long.
Sure.
But the bigger thing was the market just shifted radically. Hip-hop was exploding, and New Jack Swing arrived.
Teddy Riley and that whole movement. How did Solar sound clash with New Jack Swing?
Solar was polished, precise, often sequenced, very clean. New Jack Swing had this raw, energy-heavy R&B bass, but with that hip-hop sampling attitude and, crucially, that swing rhythm. It felt looser, more street. Solar's slickness started to sound a bit dated next to that raw swing.
The LA sound got challenged by a new New York sound in a way.
Yeah, you could say that. But even if the commercial declined, the legacy, the Solar catalog is just immense.
Absolutely critical. And Leon Sylvers himself is still involved in music, right? More behind the scenes now.
Yeah, he's been involved in things like performer rights administration. But the music, it lives on constantly, sampled endlessly, reissued, licensed. Producers today still talk about the layering, the grooves, that whole funk R&B fusion Leon perfected.
And kind of funny, Solar's last really big hit connected to the next wave of West Coast dominance.
Right, the theme song for the movie Deep Cover in 1992, released through a Solar connection.
And it introduced the world to Snoop Doggy Dogg. Talk about a handover.
Wild, isn't it? From Boogie Fever to Snoop Dogg. And the Solar brand itself is still seen as valuable. Dick Griffey's family relaunched Solar Records in the UK recently.
Shows the lasting power of that sound. So if we wrap this up, The story's really about synergy, isn't it? Leon Sylvers, the architect with this clear sonic vision.
And Solar Records, the platform that gave him basically free reign to build it.
Together, they didn't just make hits, they made a sound, bridging disco and funk into what became modern R&B. It sounds totally 80s, but the grooves still feel fresh.
Totally. And if you, the listener, want to really hear that common thread we've been talking about, the musicianship, the tech, the crossover smarts, definitely go back and check out those key tracks.
The whispers and the beat goes on. Shalamar's the second time around. Dynasty's I've Just Begun to Love You. Midnight Stars, Freakazoid.
You'll hear it instantly. That Solar signature.
It really is a masterclass. And maybe here's something to think about next time you hear about an artist collective or a producer with a signature sound. Are they building a system, like Leon Sylvers did at Solar, a whole ecosystem that fosters creativity and consistency? Or are they just chasing the next hit song? Because Solar's lasting influence suggests the system, the sonic world they built, that's what truly endures.